Hi, today I'll be demonstrating some lower body dressing techniques for individuals with hemiplegia. So we'll say my left side is the affected side. So I'll adjust my left hand and maybe put it down on the surface next to me. You might be on a couch or on the edge of the bed, or maybe you're in a chair or your wheelchair. You can also bring your right hand down or your unaffected side down next to you. You're gonna let yourself scooch forward towards the edge of the surface you're on. That way you have a little bit more moving room. So take your time to kind of migrate forward. So if you're far back, it'll just take a little bit longer to scooch, letting your weight shift side to side. So we'll begin with socks. So you'll take your unaffected arm, leaning forward, grabbing a hold of the ankle or the calf, lifting the foot and crossing it over. So you're in this kind of figure 4 position. Now there are a couple of ways you can do socks, and if neither of these ways work, you can also try using a sock aid. So you can see here, my sock hole is quite small and I can't just easily put it on. So one way would be to put your thumb inside and start gathering the sock. Now I find the big toe is a nice point of use. So putting the big toe in, I'll see if I can scooch a little here. Once I get the big toe in, it's a little bit easier to get the other toes in. And then you can pull the sock up that way. I'll show you a different way to do it on the other foot. So once you get that up, and we'll pretend I didn't scooch over to the side, you can then bring your foot down. So of course the right leg can lift up on its own. You can always readjust it though. Now, another way that might work with this is to get your thumb and pinky inside. So you'll go in, and that way you can kind of open. So going in, I'm just adjusting it. So there you can see my hole there. I'm gonna put my pinky, or all of my fingers really, in, but it's mostly just the pinky and thumb that are opening. That way, right, all I have to do is open and get the foot in. So that's another way you can try it. That does take a little bit more finger strength. And then you can bring the leg down. You like my clashing outfit here? We're gonna now put on pants. So you'll start with the affected side once again. So leaning forward, grabbing a hold of the ankle, pulling it up. A couple of different ways you can gather. So sometimes people like to gather just like I was doing the socks and sort of gathering that way. I find that's really hard and tedious. So instead, you might choose to stick your arm in the correct hole and go all the way up. You have to lift your arm up until your hand kind of peekaboos out. You see what I just did there? So once my arm is in, I sort of gather it together. And then if you have sweatpants, it's much easier, right? Because then I can have this whole space. And then I place the foot in that way. You don't have to gather that way. So if I didn't gather because I was, let's say I'm wearing jeans or something a little heavier, you don't have to be able to grab everything. Right, you just want to be able to find that hole and then stick your leg in. And then you could just start it and start to pull up. So there are a couple of different ways. You just want to make sure then you're readjusting so that the legs are in the right position. It'll make it a little easier. Pull it up as far as you can with the leg crossed over, and then you can bring it down and pull it up. Now for the other side, you could cross your ankle over, but that might not really be necessary. So if you can, you'll just lift your foot and pull it in. You're gonna pull it up pretty high. You might lift it up here, even maybe slightly higher than what you would normally want. Make sure that the seams are where you want them. Give yourself a nice gather, pulling as high up as you can. So that's where it's partially useful to be as far forward in the chair as possible. Now, if I were to try and stand up right here, it would be really hard. I'll show you from a side angle where my legs are. So if my legs are forward, I can't get up this way. So I have to scooch my legs underneath my body or slightly back, so kind of a 90-ish degree. So you can even try that. If your feet are far forward, you cannot get up, even if you have the help of both of your arms and the strength of both of your legs. So make sure your feet are underneath your body. I'll go forward again. So if my feet are forward, I can pull this leg back. You can use your hand to pull it back. You can go under and pull back. So just set yourself up so that your legs are underneath you and not ahead of you and not way behind you. That'll be really hard as well. Then from here, you can use both of your hands. So a little weight bearing here. If this arm flops off, that's fine. Use your other hand to push down, lean forward, nose over toes, pushing and lifting up. Now, of course, if you need help to do that, get help. And then using your unaffected side to pull the pants up and adjust yourself. All right, I hope that was helpful. If you have questions, let me know in the comments and have a great day.